that manipulated patient and they're, you know, kind of getting all uppity and, you know, they're starting to puff up and whatever it may be, we get really like, ma'am, I just need you to have a seat, and we get really high, okay, we're getting nervous. So again, keeping yourself in check and making sure that you lower your voice, calm expressions, hand gestures rather than doing this. This is another big one. So I don't even say anything. What does this look like? You? Right? Like you're talking to a kid. Like my child, right? And instantly my patient could pop off. Who do you think you are talking to me like that? I hardly said a word, right? Okay, if I go up here and same thing, ma'am, I need you to have a seat over here and I need you to lower your voice. Big difference, the way that my hands are positioned, right? Being repetitive, again, the broken record technique is really important here as well. All right, last one, intimidation. This is where our patient is just popped off and they are just pissed, right? And we're just like, oh, okay, so intimidation, what does this look like? So it's often clear stated demands of something that they want. So the intimidator attempts to convince the staff member that they are making the choice for them to be hurt. Don't make me do this. Don't make me hurt you. Okay, you are making the choice because I feel like I'm in control. I'm trying to intimidate you. If you don't do it, your choice, you get hurt, and I'm going to hurt you. Okay, that intimidation factor. If the demand is not met, there is a belief of threat of physical injury, which can be avoided by meeting the demand. If you don't give me that cigarette, I'm going to punch you in the face. Okay, clearly stated demands. We often call these gifts of, you know, communication with our patients. When they say, get out of my face or I'm going to punch you, cool, thanks. I'll be back later, okay? Or I'm going to go get somebody else. That is a gift that your patient is very clearly communicating to you that you need to leave. And that is perfectly acceptable in every organization. If you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, that you get your booty out of there. You do not try to, you know, oh, Mr. Smith, I know that you're really upset and you want a cigarette, but, you know, if you punch me in the face, that's not going to happen. You know, don't even go there. You need to just get out if you feel uncomfortable. So our goal is to make sure that our client makes safe choices. So some of these things look like being ready to move or get away. So if they're threatening you, again, paying attention to your environment, making sure chairs, stools, whatever is not in your way. Making sure you have the door open. That's another big one. Other people can hear you when your patient starts popping off at you and raising their voice. You want to make sure that other people can hear you. So if you need to yell, hey, I need some help in here. Okay, other people can hear you and they can come in and do a show of support is what we call. Don't state unrealistic consequences. So Mr. John says, I'm going to punch you in the face if you don't give me a cigarette. John, if you say that to me one more time, I'm going to tell Dr. Smith that you're not going to be seen here anymore. Okay, maybe down the road that could be a consequence of them not being seen anymore, but that's probably not going to be their first go-to. The patient's more than likely going to be put on a contract for behavior. They're going to be spoken to by the manager and let them know that that was unacceptable behavior. And there's other consequences that are going to happen first. So we don't want to jump to conclusions saying, and possibly unrealistic, that, you know, they're going to be discontinued from care, or I'm going to call the police and you're going to get arrested, or whatever, okay? So just pay attention to what you're saying and making sure that they're true consequences. Yes?
I've come across a number of people in my lifetime that try to use intimidation. And one of the things that seems to be a common denominator among people is they don't often think rationally to say things.
Yes.
And if you try to talk to them with logic and reasoning, that doesn't get through to them. And so removing yourself from a dangerous situation is usually the best idea.
Yeah, especially, so how many of us have really been to the point where we just feel like we're just going to lose it, right? And I mean, we're to the point where we could possibly be yelling or screaming. If somebody tried to come in and tried to talk you down, depending on the situation and who it was, I know that plays a factor, but you know, just think about how you would react to somebody trying to calm you down. Sometimes you just need that space. Sometimes you just need 5 minutes to just calm down, and you come back into the room and say, wow, you know, that got really overheated. You know, I understand that this is something that you're, you know, very passionate about or you're very frustrated about. Let's talk about it and figure out a plan. Okay, so coming in and just letting them take that minute is really important, because sometimes you can get through. Maybe when you try to come back, you know, you come back and he's throwing things in the, you know, the walls, and then you know that you're really not going to get anywhere with them, so you know what your next step is. It's obviously not to walk back in there and put yourself at risk. You know that you need to back down a couple of steps and, you know, maybe call security, get the manager involved, that kind of thing. So really evaluating and giving that time for that person to debrief is really important. Another thing that we don't want to do is basically give back the bad behavior. So patient throws a pen at you, you're what, excuse me, throw it back at him. Okay, the patient's swearing at you, you're not going to swear back at them. Okay, those are all, we're not going to reciprocate the bad behavior. Okay, avoid gesturing, no physical contact, stand with your back to the exit and make sure that you don't have any furniture between you and whoever's intimidating you, making sure that you're paying attention to how far away that person is from you, so if they come at you, you have plenty of room to move them out of the way if you need to, rather than them just plowing you over. Make clear, direct statements of consequences. So again, punching me in the face is not going to get you a cigarette, okay? You stating that to me is not going to get you what you want. Let's talk about what we need to have happen here. So come up with a plan, state your demands, and stick to them. Again, if you're feeling unsafe, it is always, always, always okay to leave the situation. Any other questions or concerns about this one? We're going to talk a little bit about what this looks like to keep yourself safe and some of those techniques, but for right now, those are some of those things that you can act on for a plan. So, verbal de-escalation. What are some things that you can say or do, I guess, when we have verbal escalation? So, again, monitoring your own feelings and responses. When people are frustrated, okay, they're not going to be just, you know, I hate you so much, your hair is beautiful. Hate you, right? They're not going to say nice things to you. They're often going to be racially driven. They're going to be sexually driven. You know, they're not going to be nice. So we need to keep in check how we are responding. And if we feel like we are getting, you know, really amped up and like, don't just say that to me, and we feel like we're starting to get puffed up, we need to leave the situation and have somebody step in for us. That's really important for you to pay attention to how you are responding. Listen carefully. Again, that active listening, nodding your head, paraphrasing. I understand what you're saying. I could see how you would feel that way, those kinds of things. Number one objective is to bring your level of the patient's level of arousal down. So how we react is often going to be either going to fuel that patient's fire or it is going to flood it. It is all about how you choose to react. Okay, so keep that in mind. Using silence, do not yell, speak loudly over the person. Again, explaining limits and rules to what you are willing or can do for the patient. Empathize with the feelings, but not with the bad behavior. I understand that you feel really frustrated right now, but I need you to know that yelling at me is not okay with me. I need you to lower your voice and I need you to have a seat. Suggesting alternate behavior. So again, how I recommended, you know, please lower your voice and please have a seat, those kinds of things. Don't solicit your own feelings as well. You're making me feel really nervous right now, okay, because what is that patient getting out of that? That's right where I want you, okay? You know that you're nervous and they're just going to keep poking and poking. You're really frustrating me right now. Oh, great, I'm almost there. Just keep poking and poking until I get what I want, right? Trust yourself. You have a really good judge of when things are going well and that you can handle the situation. When you feel really uncomfortable and you're just like, oh my God, I want to die. I just need to leave. You trust that instinct and you do it, okay? So nonverbal things. Again, paying attention to how you nonverbally react. This is posturing. This is paying attention to even your tone of voice. all of those things. So appearing calm, self-centered, self-assured. You know what to do. You take a deep breath if you need to. Okay, you take just a minute of quiet to just kind of gather your thoughts while the patient is just going off or whatever. You just sit there, and you try to do some self-talk to yourself. What are going to be my next steps? What do I need to do? Do I have the door open? Paying attention to those kinds of things. Maintaining a neutral facial expression, keeping a relaxed and alert posture, standing up straight. Some safety strategies. So I'm going to move right this. Okay, so my door is over here, my patient's over here, and we're talking, and she is just having a conniption, right? Why do I not want to do, well, I guess, let's say the exit's behind me. Why do I not want to leave, turn my back to my patient? What can happen? She can attack me. They can come at me, they can throw something at me. I'm not going to see anything that's coming to me if I'm here, right? So when you choose to exit the door, say it's over here, okay, you're going to, kind of back up, like this. You never take your eyes off your patient. 2, arm's length distance. So we usually say the most comfortable positions for us in a general conversation is we have a hand in front, 2 to the side, on either side, about a half an arm's length, and at least 1.5 behind us. So when we have somebody who's upset, we want to double that. Okay, we have here and at least here. The next thing too is paying attention to the angle of your body. So it's kind of like a kickboxing stance. Okay, you're going to be kind of at what we call a 45-degree angle. So, Christy,
Yes.
I'm going to have you come help me for a second.
All right.
And the glasses.
I got her just in case you can't see my face.
I thought you were Okay, so stop right there. So let's say that, she's really angry. You're sitting here and she's throwing a fit. Okay, I'm going to start backing up. Okay, I understand that you're really upset. And if she comes at me and I'm standing here, okay, what's going to happen? I'm having to kind of do this kind of thing. I get trip over something, I can't really see where I'm going. Whereas if I'm here, okay, you see the difference here? I'm standing kind of and it doesn't have to be like fighter stance, right?
Right.
Okay, it can be very relaxed. You can just simply have your leg out, kind of being, on your back leg. Okay, you're here. If you come at me, okay, this puts me in the position to be able to deflect her out of my way, right? So, back. Okay, so actually kind of come faster. Okay. I'm here. Okay.
She got desperate. You're not escalated at all, Christy.
Another reason too is if we're standing toe to toe, so come a little bit closer here. If we're standing toe to toe, this is a very intimidating stance, right? Like I am facing off with her, like, oh yeah? Right? And so if she pushes me, even though I know that the push is coming, can you push me? Even though I know the push is coming, it's very hard for me to have balance, right? Whereas if I'm kind of in my position here and she pushes, okay, I can go back on my back leg. I can kind of go with it. I'm not kind of tripping over myself. So I have more control over the situation. Okay, so I noticed that massage is having a class right now, so we're going to be really quiet, but I do want to go through a couple of these techniques, which actually, just make sure. Okay, yeah, so personal safety techniques. I want to go out in the hallway, and we're going to find a partner and partner up, and we're going to get in 2 lines. So let's move out into the hallway, and we're going to do this kind of quietly.